Hello everybody. Do you need to migrate your data from another CRM system into SuiteCRM? That's what we're going to look into today. Okay, so let's go. First, let's go into what we really need. So we need, of course, our CRM system. Here I've got a pretty fresh standard SuiteCRM 8.8, and I want to migrate data over from another CRM system. And in order to do this, I need a couple of CSV files, basically exports from the source system. So if those prepared as well, let's look into those. We've got accounts, contacts, and opportunities. And here, let's look into the details. So for instance, for accounts. In order to make it very simple, I try to limit the fields here and not import everything. In this case, name is a required field. You can see the required fields if you go into the CRM system and then click on create accounts, and you can see name is required, all others are not required. So that's good here. And the ID, it's a bit special. So in your source system, usually you have automatically generated IDs. They should be unique, and you can utilize those ID to import your data, and everything stays connected. So here I would just start with the company because let's look in the contacts and then it becomes clear why. Later on I want to import the contacts, and the contact again has like a required field which is last name, and then the account ID. So the relationship is basically a parent-child relationship. The account or like the contact is working inside a company. So, and in order to import the contact and inside the import data already place the correct company or reference the correct company, the company of course has to exist in advance. And therefore we first need to import our accounts and then the contacts. And fairly similar, here we've got an ID as well. This is now a contact ID, and then we've got an email address. And later on, we'll do a similar thing for the opportunities. Here it's a little bit special. We've got a contact ID, but maybe not everything can be used. We'll figure this out in just a bit. Then let's go and start with it. So first of all, I click onto import accounts, and I load my CSV file. So create new records only. I suppose you have a fresh SuiteCRM installation. You're doing the data migration the first time, and therefore you don't have any records inside. If you're doing updates as well, this becomes more complex because basically SuiteCRM requires the SuiteCRM ID or like the ID inside the CRM system for data updates. So yeah. Ideally, you would not need to do updates. Here, be a bit careful. This seems to be recognized correctly. So here we've got a semicolon because you see if it's not a semicolon or if I manually switch it to comma, and then it will look odd and out of place, and therefore this has been correctly recognized. Same goes for the header row. So I had once in a while some files here where those two things here made some issues, could not be easily recognized depending on what kind of data you've got in the file. This file is incredibly easy, and therefore it was easy to parse and recognize it as well. So the next thing is the field mapping. Now you've got usually a bigger list of fields that you want to import, which are basically the columns of your CSV file, of your Excel file. And here you need to map those columns to the correct fields. This one has been working quite smoothly because I already named the fields in the Excel file or CSV file according to the target system here. It might be possible depending on your CRM system and how your source CRM system and how you do the data export. You can either click on export and then it's all different sorts of names, but maybe you have something like a BI integrated or reporting software integrated in your source CRM, and then you can already prepare the export with the correct column names so that it fits here as well. In case you have data missing in your old source CRM system that you want to have here now, depending on what kind of data and how you want to do this, you would either use this one here, and you would just add, like as an example, like created by, and then you would have created by, or like billing country is all one country or something, and then you can automatically fill up this data here whilst you're doing the import. Maybe easier it would be to do this beforehand in the CSV file, depending on if there are logic rules or something. So next, here, check for possible duplicates. So this is tricky now. If you have genuine duplicates inside your source system and you want to remove them, you can do this here. So I would just go ahead and say, like, the name field will be my unique identifier. And then the second time the same name will have been found, it will not be imported. Problem is, if you have, let's say, 2 times the company Smith Ltd, 2 separate, the same name, but 2 separate companies, and therefore 2 separate IDs, and totally valid. So there are no duplicates. These are not duplicates. And then the second one will not be imported. So all contacts that are working in the second one will not be imported, or will not be referenced to the correct company as well. So you need to be careful with this one here. Usually the name for the company is not a very good identifier for duplicates. So I do the import, and here I get like a summary, just like a standard import. That's all good. And now I go to view my accounts, and I see it has been imported here. And if I click on it, you will see in the address bar here that my ID has been imported as well. So we don't do the standard SuiteCRM IDs anymore for this one here. We have currently used the ID from the source system. Works very well with data migrations if your source system has IDs, nothing like Excel or similar. So, and now we're still missing all the related records here. And I want to do, the next one that I want to do is like import contacts. So therefore would go to the contacts, import my contacts module, and then, create new records, exactly. Here again, check the file properties. We have this one being recognized. If you're using Microsoft Excel, be very careful, because Excel is trying to be very smart for you, and I don't want to have it very smart. I want to have it very precise, because if you go to the contacts and you open it with editor, and then you will see the real truth about it. So here we've got a semicolon, and there are no quotation marks, and like usually if you're working with CSV files, it's better to avoid Excel and work with either LibreOffice or just in text editor, so we can avoid adding any logic and breaking the CSV file. And that looks so far so good. If you have any specifics, but again here no specifics, no like currencies or something included. Now we've got the last name that has been recognized, account ID, and that's very important. Here we've got the account ID and the account name that we can select. If you can use the ID, you're always on the safe side, because IDs are just IDs. They're unique and very safe to reference. Account name, here we've got the problem now. So if you go by account name and you don't have the ID and you're referencing the Smith Ltd, suddenly all the contacts that have been working on in the second Smith Ltd company, which we did not import because of the duplicates, they are not going to be working anymore in this company. They're working in the first Smith Ltd company. So therefore, as you can see, these are real issues you need to be careful about this one. So usually you would clean the data before you import this, so duplicate checks and merge in the source system, then export, then import here. And then email address, I needed to manually map it because the name here deviates, and then the ID, it's the ID from the contact itself. Yeah, and then I click on next, and here we can probably duplicate check for email address, because email addresses are quite unique. Ideally you would have done the duplicate checks and merges already inside your source system. So I go to contacts and I see that the contact has been imported very well. And now I need to reload this one here and check whether the contact is associated with the correct account as well. And as you can see, because of our ID mapping, it worked out indeed. So that's very good. So now I want to do the same thing with the opportunities. So for the opportunities, I would import them now, and I click on Browse, open my opportunity CSV file, and here again, make sure that this one is correct. Maybe you've got some amounts with decimals or whatever, then you've got those symbols as well that you might need to adjust. Yeah, and maybe the dates as well. So depending on your date format, how you retrieve the data from your old or from your source CRM system. So then this looks all good, and here it's a bit special. You see the preview already, and then we have to do our field mapping now. Name and amount has been correctly found. Account ID, we know this already from our contact. So I want to reference the opportunity together with the account, with the company, and therefore I can now select the account ID. Contact ID, and as you can see, you can't see the contact field, and this is because one opportunity could be linked to multiple contacts, because it could be that you're in contact with multiple people about one opportunity, and therefore this is like a mapping table, and you can't easily import it via the user interface. So we just have to do not map this field here. Sales date has been recognized as well. Account name is a bit of an oddity, so it does not really matter what I put inside. The most important thing is that we have the account ID instead of the account name. So, and then the expected close date, this has not been recognized correctly as well, and I would just map it. And then I click on next. Here, opportunity name, just in case we've got duplicates and opportunities, would be even worse than anything else. And then that so far looks good, but let's look into the details. So if I look into the view opportunities, I've got this new opportunity that has just been imported. Qualification, amount, expected close date, and the account has been related as well. And as you can see, that's a difference. So here inside the header or inside the core data of this module, I reference the account name, and it's not a subpanel. So therefore, if it would be, or if it's like in a subpanel, I can't really import it as such. I go over to the accounts and I check whether it worked here, and as it seems like it did as well. So therefore you see this has now an opportunity, and we can see this here as well, total opportunity value, perfect. So that worked out. We have been able to migrate our data over from the source system. That was now a very simplified version, but in principle this should be the same. You need to look out for like what modules, what data you want to migrate over, and then inside the data for the patterns, if you have postal code starting with a 0, don't open it with Excel or LibreOffice as it is. You have to make sure that you select a text field, because if it's like a number field, if it's being recognized as a number field, the leading 0 will be stripped out. Or if you have something with dates, it could be that Excel is trying to optimize your dates and breaking the formats. Or if it's like anything. So usually try to be careful on editing the CSV files or opening it with any like visual spreadsheet editor. If you open it with a text editor, it should be all fine. If you have to rework, massage this data before the import, yeah, just be especially careful about this. Overall, that seems to be it. We have successfully migrated our data over from the source CRM system, and we can start working in the CRM system now here in SuiteCRM. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Bye.